Gran Turismo 7, here we are, years after we first saw the teaser trailer. I can firmly say that this franchise isn't foreign to me. In fact, I have all the previous games here with me. GT1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 prologue. And here's the 7th. I've played every Gran Turismo game there is, and that's coming from a guy who doesn't actually like racing games. In this review, I will go over all the pros, cons, and compare it to previous releases. We'll take a deep dive into my personal opinion and just overall celebrate this fantastic new release. Stay until the end, because I have some good news and bad news, and so are the bloopers this time. So let's get into good and bad and horrible of this game. Unlike GT Sport, which was a nauseating tease and a huge step away from everything that made Gran Turismo franchise great, I was under the impression that we'll never see a full game ever again. Whether it's nostalgia-induced love or just favorably constructed gameplay, Gran Turismo has kept me hooked ever since GT2, which was the first one I ever played. What I loved back then was the visual aspect of cars and their tuning parts. I loved the open map menu and used car shop. But most of all, I loved that the cars were the pride and accomplishment in your garage. The license tests and whether you got the gold in them or not was the pinnacle of your success. Getting that reward was as satisfying as beating a boss in Elden Ring. Getting gold with Dodge Viper in Laguna Seca special license was the boss and the main villain. As you did all that, you also collected money, bought cars, tuned them to squeeze every bit of horsepower you could out of them. But most of all, everyone seemed to care was Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak version, the greatest car in this game. Gut-wrenchingly overpowered, this beast was the hero of your main story. It was a grind to get it, but once you did, most races were covered. Once GT Sports launched, I felt sad because everything I loved was taken out. Gone was the beautifully designed visualization of the map. Neutered was the amount of cars, and all the races were set into a list like it was an Excel spreadsheet. Horrendous experience if you ask me. It was too arcadey and always required online, even in single player. This decision sadly carried over to GT7 as well. I also felt the graphics were lacking, considering it was released on PlayStation 4. I even had the Pro version. It truly was a disappointment overall, and the whole game felt like an adopted child of a sidekick, rather than the main hero of this franchise. My review about GT Sports is also in the description. But here we are, a new day, sun is shining, and we can finally dive into GT7. This release here is everything Gran Turismo fans were hoping for. Back is the menu map and used car shop. And now once again we have a sufficient amount of cars and visual parts for tuning. Well, tuning is on steroids this time. Customization has now been upgraded into the biggest feature in GT7. It's the main selling point here. You can change, upgrade and customize engines and their parts. You can add turbos, mufflers, computer chips, transmissions and so on. And not only, once you've done all that, you can enter this advanced menu to tweak each parameter of those parts. But wait, there's more. You can also change the oil, widen the car's body, repair the rigidness, and add wings, customize the paint, add stickers, add structural support, change the car's weight, add or remove ballast. It's remarkable what you can do. One moment you can drive around with a wheelbarrow and the next you've turned it into a spaceship. As you begin the game, you have a limited budget, just enough to get yourself a used car. You start by entering races, collecting money, winning new cars and getting into more difficult races, tweaking your ride to be able to win and so on. This time around, you have a cafe in the center of the map. This is basically your mission giver. You can do everything on your own, but all the collection quests under Cafe take you through the most optimal route to completing all those races and winning those rewards. There are also new forms of missions added to those standard races, whether you need to drive fuel efficiently or knock over some cones. Now, having covered all that, Kazunori Yamauchi has also introduced us a new and innovative weather system that forms clouds and lets the rain fall in realistic manner. Days turn into dark nights. Dusk and dawn really paints the sky in different colors. As rain falls, puddles form, and as rain evaporates, it dries the higher altitude parts first. Night sky has stars and constellations, and it really reflects what you actually see, whether you're in Japan, Europe, or US. Graphically, the game looks good, at least what tracks, skyline, mountains and forests are concerned. This time I'm not even complaining about the grass. We have now got separate grass straws growing from the ground, not just patches of texture panels. Cars look beautiful, sometimes very glossy. Maybe even too glossy, but I can't complain. A lot of work has gone into cars themselves, as they handle sound that look precisely as their real-life counterparts, both outside and in. Driving, which is the main feature of GT7, has been done really well. AI has several tricks against you, and racing in harder difficulties can be a challenge, especially when you're not prepared with weatherproof equipment like heavy wet surface tires and proper handling settings. But let's get one thing clear here. Gran Turismo is not an arcade racer. It has never been one. I've seen reviews where people complain that they can't go to this race with that car. There are other games for that, mate. In real life, you can't ride a horse on Le Mans and qualify. You can't take a Formula 1 car and put it on dirt track. You have a set of rules. The whole point of Gran Turismo is to make the car fit the requirements. Otherwise, there's no point for tuning and modifying. I don't want to go too deep into GT7 details. I'm just trying to get my point across. What I love that GT7 has is knowledge. Whether you're car shopping or just want yourself a first ride or visiting cafe with your equipped car, you can get a whole history lesson of its development, both in the form of text and videos. Although the video quality is horrendous, it kinda buffers from YouTube with 240 pixels. I puke in my mouth a little every time I watch one of these on my 85-inch TV. As you can see, I don't have all candy, koalas, fluffy pillows to say about this game. Here are things that really make me sad, disappointed or flat out angry. So, this time you can't sell your car anymore. GT has always been a game where you win a car, sell it to gain money. This time you really need to work for the money. Well, not really, as my game passively grinds about 2 millions a day, video about my guide in the description. So now you can only discard your cars, basically deleting them without getting anything in return. GT7 also introduces you to microtransactions in the form of credits. I actually love this version of microtransactions more, because that means that no one ever needs to give them money. And you can get every car in the game just by playing the game. Now I've heard that Mystique and some other YouTubers are kind of hating the system compared to GT Sports, because there you could buy a whole car with real money. But they are wrong in their thought process and conclusion as well. A faulty mindset, may I add. Now the way it works now is better for the consumer, especially when you have an abundance of credits with money tricks and so on. But let's continue. The biggest disappointment is here. GT7 gives you gifts in the form of lottery tickets of disappointment. They have a different star rating on them to show you how valuable the gifts in there are. You can get beautiful cars, engines, tuning parts, or huge piles of coins. Some piles bigger than mountains. You might even get all your dreams to come true. But what's really going on is that the game pulls your chain and hits you in the face with a middle finger every time you spin the wheel of shit. Honestly, after opening 20 mid to high tier tickets in a row and getting 5,000 credits each time, the least possible reward, may I add, I kinda wish they didn't put them in the game at all. Really, I get so mad every time I win one of those tickets of misery. I don't want to open them, I don't want to get disappointed again. I don't want to get my hopes up. In other Gran Turismos, you at least got a car. Even if it's a shitty one, it's still a car. At least you could sell it and get more than 5,000 credits. And somehow, your disappointment is managed that way. But this system here is horrendous. This release here gives you only a slap in the face. Let us continue. As mentioned before, GT7 also needs to be always online. And I don't really understand the point of it at all. I mean, yeah, most people have internet, but there can be outages. If you have internet failure, you at least have electricity to continue, but no, not anymore. Then you might say that, oh, but you can also lose electricity. But that's double the risk here. That's double the risk. Once you lose either one, your anus gets drilled by Polyphony Digital. And one last thing, music in GT7 is not captivating, unlike GT1 and 2. This time around, it's garbage. And sadly, not the band you would like or hope to hear. In previous releases, I would even consider turning down the car's sounds in order to let the music accompany you and shine. This time I'm better off hearing my muffler, turbo and my engine's RPM. It's a bit sad. Enough, let's pull everything together before I lose my voice. GT7 has been kind enough to bring back split screen, a feature only known by a few, a mysterious extra appendix removed ages ago. Well, it's back, and it's fantastic. Overall, GT7, whether you're a sim racer, arcade lover, or career hound, is for you. If you can afford electricity, internet, and €80 price tag, then go nuts and get the game. I give GT7 an 8 out of 10, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like, smash that bell, and if you dare, subscribe as well. I'm SillyLlamaz, and thanks for watching. Till next time. Kazunori, Mauzi. Oh my god, that is Kazunori Yamauzi has also introduced a damn.